here today for the Tracy Speedway reunion. For those of you who don't know, this is the actual venue that Tracy Speedway was on. We're actually standing on the infield of the Speedway. Just on the outer perimeter you see there was the actual track, and those two grandstands there are actually both original grandstands. The one on the right there was here all along, and the second one there, led to believe, was built in the late 50s, early 60s, but they still stand today. A lot of the houses are in the background are original houses, and the mounds you see are actually the spectator mounds that were here back in the racing days. So this venue, I may be corrected, it's a bit before my time, but I'm led to believe this venue opened just after World War II, around 1946, and was known in those days as Maribyrnong Speedway. And then in the mid to late 50s, it was taken over by the Traceys family. Fred Tracy was the promoter, and he ran the place through till it closed in 1964. So we've got a huge display of midgets, or speed cars as they're known, solos, sidecars, and a lot of the old heavy rods, which are all the original classes that raced here back in the day. They say that this place used to be packed on a Saturday night. We've got not so many drivers or riders that used to race here, because unfortunately they've perished over the years. But a great turnout of fans that came here as kids and teenagers and seen this place in its glory days. So we're going to show you a few cars now and talk about a bit of their history. With Adrian Densley, who owns these two speed cars behind us. Can you tell us a bit of history about these cars, mate?
Yeah, for sure. The first car that's in front of us here is a car that raced here back in the day. Dowlings and Osborne's had it, and Wayne Barker, Ed Barker had it before them. It was a Wally Cobeck car before that. We bought the car, ended up in Fish Creek in South Gippsland. We've got some photos of the car over there. The car went to South Australia and we bought it out of there. So the Shearer family had it over in South Australia. The second car is a Curtis Craft chassis 232. It's got a V860 in it, which is an ex-Barry Butterworth motor. We bought the car from Gary Peers out of Sydney. And yeah, Gary was in the process of selling it on behalf of the family. The previous owner passed away, so pretty cool to have that in a collection. It's almost, both cars are almost as we bought them. We don't know the history on the 232. The bodywork and stuff doesn't exactly align with the chassis, which sort of tells us that is not the original bodywork for that car. So we can't go on the panel work and the paint work that it came with alone. So bit of a mystery, but that's part of the fun of owning some of these things at times. So pretty cool to have the car and have it down here today. Good to be a part of it and involved with people who've got a similar interest in this kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's great. And I believe, did this Wally Kovacs car that actually raced here at Tracy's back in the day?
With Kovac and Barker, yep. So it's pretty cool to have it back at a place where it actually started doing a skid. So yeah, it's
not a lot of cars left that actually raced at this venue. So it's great to have a car with great history here. Absolutely. So yeah, thanks very much.
No worries. Cheers.
In front of you here we got the Victorian number 59 speed car. This car actually didn't obviously race at Tracy's. This car's from a lot later era, through the 80s and 90s, but probably debatable. It's probably the most famous car in VSDA history. It was owned by Barry Power, built by Barry and Wayne Pearce, and driven predominantly by Ray Noddy Bishop. This car won in the vicinity of up probably somewhere around eight or nine VSTA club championships. I think 5 or 6 Victorian speed car championships. Also placed in the Australian speed car championship 3 times with Noddy at the wheel. I think 80, 85 he was runner-up, 86 runner-up again, and 3rd in 89 at Rockhampton. This car went to New Zealand twice and represented Australia with Noddy at the wheel. It's largely unrestored. It's hasn't been sort of, since it retired, hasn't been re-powder coated or anything like that. Original type Autocraft Volkswagen engine. Most of the running gear is original. It's just had a bit of a tidy up with the paintwork and everything, and is currently owned, I think there's a consortium of owners with Barry Fitzpatrick, Alan Simpson and Ian the Fly Lewis. So a great car with great VSTA history. Here we've got Wayne Barker, who is the son of Ed Barker, that was I believe the builder and owner of these 3 cars.
Yes, he built...
I'll let you tell the story about it.
Yeah, when I was 5 he built me this little mini quarter-sized midget, and just as a novelty car. And I was down at Tracy Speedway when I was about 5 driving this around the track. Dad's car itself, was Kenny Parfrey's car, number 25. And he bought that after Ken won the Victorian Speed Car Derby, I think it was, and somewhere about 53 or 4, something like that, won the Derby. And when I got a bit older, Dad, we had another car sitting at home, which is the one at the top, the middle 3/4, and that wasn't finished off, so he finished that off for me so I could drive that. Yeah, right. Yeah, and we were at Traceys for, I don't know, maybe about 8 years or something, I think. Yep. We weren't here in the last couple of years of Traceys. Dad gave up driving. In the meantime, I think Jackie Hollingsworth drove Dad's car there for about 2 years, I think, and Dad was sort of probably over driving, I guess. and then Dad drove it again for another season, I think, and just gave it up. Yep. In, I don't know what year it was, but it would have been early 60s, I think, yeah.
Oh, a great bit of history, and it's good to see the 3 cars are still together and still in the family. I believe they went through a couple other owners, and then you managed to get them all back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Max Miller bought them off my brother, and he got them up and running again, and then they got sold to Gippsland. A guy at Gippsland had them, and we saw them at Phillip Island there being displayed one day, and so we bought them back.
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic you got them, and
we've got everything. Dad's jumper he used to wear, and his helmet there, and heaps of memorabilia, all programs and pictures, stuff everywhere. Yeah, it's really good.
Oh, it's a great bit of history, and thanks for sharing it with us.
Not at all. You're welcome.
Thanks, mate. All right, we're here with the very rare and unique rear engine speed car that was built by the Duttons, I believe, sometime in the late 50s, early 60s. Butch Nankerville here is now the current owner. His dad Frank owned this car for a period of time and raced it, I believe. What's the story on how your dad found it and got it back to its current state?
Honestly, don't know how he got involved. I think in the early days he was involved with Bill Dutton and them back in the days of the early Traceys. And Dad sold his original car, which is the Wayne Scott car over there, and he wanted to get back into it, and this car came available and he bought it. So he bought it back. It had a Hillman in it originally, and it said, like on the placard there, it was about 1975 I think it was, and he had a lot of handling issues. So he mucked about with it. In the end, didn't really do much with it after that, so the car went back, I think, to Dutton family, and they got full intentions of changing it and bringing it back to its original, which they didn't do, and it got stripped. And I heard that Dad had to go and get to buy it back, which he did in 1975. He had to go to all the Duttons and get all the bits and pieces, because each family member had bits and pieces of it. Yep. That's what I was told. So then Dad got it back, fully rebuilt the car, which then I think your dad Wayne and the old man put the other motor in it, which is now a Ford Pinto, and then Wayne campaigned it for a little while, Wayne Pearce, so, as well as Dad, and then now Dad took it home, and then this is where it is now, back to the full Dutton car, the original Dutton car. So. Yeah, and this is how it is now. Yeah,
and these cars, obviously, I think, we're not sure exactly the year, but we think sometime in the mid-70s they actually banned rear engine cars, so that's why this car is very unique, probably one of the only rear engine cars ever built in Australia. There were a couple of sidewinders, but this would be one of the only rear engine speed cars ever built, and then unfortunately they were banned for various reasons, so this is a really unique car.
Just being an unconventional speed car, I think that was the thing. But and then there's a lot more politics involved, which I didn't really pick up on as a young kid. So, but it's still good to see it here in its it's in good condition and look after.
That actually did race here at the Traceys venue back in the 50s and 60s. So a really unique, rare car to have here today.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Thanks for your time, Butch.
Thanks, mate. Good on you. Thank you.
we're here with Brian Haley, who's got a nice little story to tell about some history here at the Tracy Speedway.
Yeah, back in the mid-50s or 57, Fred put on a thing for the kids with bikes, at interval, something different. And it went for about 4 meetings, and there was more than 100 bikes in the first meeting of the bikes. And who was left standing went through till next week. Anyhow, I finished up at the end with the last bike standing, and I was presented with this trophy, £5 by Alf Beasley, not too long before he had his accident.
That's a great bit of history. And there's a date on that trophy? What's the date on there? 9th of November 1957. So, yeah, that's a good one. And when you say bikes, we're talking push bikes, kids on push bikes. And how old were you at the time?
About 15.
Yeah. Nice.
Anyhow, we had PMG wheels off their bikes on our bike, which made it much stronger. That was why we survived.
Oh, there's a great bit of history from back in the day. All right, we're here with Terry, who's come all the way from Cairns to be at Tracy Speedway today, and he's going to tell a little bit of his story about his history here.
This is the second time I've been down to a reunion, and this is where my uncle, when I was 11 or 12 years old, Uncle Eddie, he brought me here to this, and this is where I started my speedway addiction. I do a lot of work up in Cairns at Mareeba Speedway and Cairns Speedway, and blame my uncle for bringing me here to this venue and smelling the methanol, and I just can't get it out of my blood.
That's fantastic, Terry. Great story, and thanks for coming here today. We appreciate it.
I bet you there's a lot of stories too. Yeah, good stuff. Thanks very much. Much obliged.
Thanks, mate.